All right, now let's practice graphing some logarithmic functions. Here in this example, they're asking us to graph these two functions, f and g, in the same coordinate plane, and I'm asking you to state the domain, range, and asymptote of each graph. So first, let's sketch f of x equals 2 to the x. Now this should feel like a review. All right, we're making our quick table. F of x equals 2 to the x. We're going to plug in our favorite 5 numbers. Oops. So 2 to the negative 2 is 1/4. 2 to the negative 1 is 1/2. 2 to the 0 is 1. 2 to the 1 is 2. And 2 squared is 4. We know that this graph of this exponential function is going to have a horizontal asymptote of y equals 0. So I'm going to sketch that horizontal asymptote here, y equals 0, and I'm going to plot my 5 points. Negative 1/4, negative 1/2, 0, 2, and 4. And here is the sketch of my exponential function that is not crossing my horizontal asymptote. I can see from my graph it has a domain of negative infinity to infinity and a range of 0 to infinity. Now, in order to graph log, I'm going to remind myself that these two are inverse functions. Inverse functions. So if I'm trying to graph g of x, I know my x and my g of x is actually f inverse of x. So that just means my x's and y's are going to switch. 1/4, negative 2, 1/2, negative 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, and 4, 2. Now, what's also going to change is if I'm reflecting my y and my x, instead of having a horizontal asymptote of y equals 0, now I'm going to have a vertical asymptote of x equals 0. So let's do that. Dashed vertical asymptote, x equals 0. And I'm going to plot these 5 points. 1/4, negative 2, 1/2, negative 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 4, 2. So here is my logarithmic function g of x, and I should also have labeled this one f of x. And we'll notice that these are a reflection across the line y equals x because they are inverses. Now, in order to do my domain, I can see that my domain is from 0 to infinity, and my range is negative infinity to infinity because they switch from being inverses.